Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 9. My name is Xavier Robert, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu urges governors to work with him to fight poverty and terrorism. Ayedatiwa sworn in as Ondo governor. Plus, China threatens more trade sanctions on Taiwan as election nears. Details of these stories and more in a moment. First in the news tonight, President Bola Tinubu has called on all state governments to join hands with him to fight poverty and terrorism in the country. The president made this comment at the Lagos House in Marina, where he was hosted by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Tinubu asserted that himself and his financial team are working very hard to make Nigeria a better and conducive living place for all citizens. He also revealed that he feels the hardship the people are going through and promised to work hard to give Nigerians the best economy and opportunities they can imagine. The president commended Governor Sanwo-Olu and his deputy for holding forth the affairs of Lagos State and making it remain the center of excellence. On a sad note, President Bola Tinubu today penned an emotional tribute on the passing of Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, describing him as a fearless statesman and compassionate leader. The president, in a personal statement, recalled how they fought many battles together to restore progressive governance, especially in the southwest geopolitical zone. Tinubu said he telephoned Akeredolu's wife Betty and the acting governor Lokia Ayedatiwa to commiserate with them and urge them to take heart over the national tragedy. Meanwhile, President Tinubu has sympathized with the Naaba family as well as the government and people of Kano State over the passing of Gali Umar Naaba, former Speaker of the House of Representatives. Presidential spokesperson Ajurin Galale disclosed this in a statement today. Recall that Naaba, the Speaker of the House of Representatives from 1999 through 2003, died today. Reacting to his death, Tinubu expressed profound grief at the loss, recalling the contributions of the late ex-lawmaker to nation building through legislation, advocacy, and policy. Tinubu hailed Naaba's determined struggle to defend the functionality and role of the legislature in governance, describing him as a disciplined and committed politician. The president prayed for the repose of the departed soul and comfort for those who mourn his passing. In a related development, President of the Senate and Chairman of the National Assembly, Senator Godswill Akpabio, has expressed deep sadness at the death of a former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Gali Umar Naaba. Akpabio stated that Naaba, who died in the early hours of today in Abuja at the age of 65, was a true Democrat. The Senate President, in a condolence message signed by his special advisor on media and publicity, Eseme Eyibo, said it was saddening for the nation to lose Naaba at this time in its history. He described the former speaker as a patriot, selfless politician, and true Democrat who sacrificed his ambition by repelling dictatorship and instituting the independence of the legislature. Meanwhile, President of the 9th Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has mourned the demise of the Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu and former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Gali Umar Naaba. Akeredolu died at the age of 67 and Naaba at 65. In a statement issued today by his media advisor, Dr. Ezrel Tabiowo, Senator Lawan said the deaths of both leaders have left a void in the political and governance landscape. Akeredolu, as a visionary leader whose numerous achievements. According to the former Senate President, Gali Umar Naaba on the other hand, was a strong advocate for democracy who played a pivotal role in shaping the nation's democratic governance during the time he held sway as Speaker of the House of Representatives between 1999 and 2003. Still in a related development, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi has described the death of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State as a colossal loss to the country, the legal world and civil society organizations. Fagbemi said Akeredolu's days as the president of the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA) brought immense growth to the bar. In a statement today in Abuja, the Attorney General of the Federation extended his condolences to the family of the deceased, the government and people of Ondo State, and the entire nation, while praying to God to grant his soul rest in peace. Still on the sad developments in Ondo, where the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum (NGF) and Kwara State Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak has expressed sadness over the death of Ondo State Governor Olurotimi Akeredolu San. The NGF described Akeredolu as an exceptional statesman who made indelible marks in public service. The governor, in a statement signed by his chief press secretary to the governor, Rafiu Ajakai, said his heartfelt condolences go to the Progressives Governors Forum, the government and people of Ondo State, the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA), as well as the immediate family of his dear brother and colleague Olurotimi Akeredolu. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) today mourned former Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State and described his death as a national loss. The party, in a statement by its National Publicity Secretary Debo Olugunagba in Abuja, described Akeredolu as a courageous and amiable personality, brilliant lawyer, and he also described him as an outstanding administrator with deep understanding and capacity for leadership, especially in his roles towards the unity, stability, and development of the nation. Olugunagba commiserated with Akeredolu's widow, Betty Akeredolu, his children, and the people of Ondo State. He prayed to God to grant them the fortitude to bear the irreparable loss, and to the faithful departed eternal rest in his bosom. In the meantime, the acting governor of Ondo State, Lucky Ayedatiwa, has been sworn in as the governor of the Sunshine State. The swearing in was held at the Cocoa Conference Hall in the governor's office in Akure, the state capital, and was administered by the Chief Judge, Justice Olusegun Dushola, at about 5:18 p.m. Present to witness the swearing in were other judges and top government officials, including the Secretary to the State Government and members of the State Cabinet, the State All Progressives Congress (APC) chairman, and members of the State House of Assembly. His inauguration followed the death of Governor Olurotimi Akeredolu earlier today. Ayedatiwa's walk to becoming the governor of Ondo State was a long one that lasted 1 year, since Akeredolu suffered health challenges before he eventually succumbed to the claws of death today in faraway Germany, where he was being treated for prostate cancer. Ayedatiwa survived an impeachment plot by Akeredolu's allies in the Ondo State House of Assembly and stark opposition by his late principal's foot soldiers. Elsewhere, the Chief Press Secretary (CPS) to former Ondo Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, Richard Olatunde, has resigned from his position. Olatunde, in his resignation letter obtained by newsmen, explained that his decision to resign was hinged on the untimely death of his principal Akeredolu. He described his late principal as one who was courageous, truthful, and honest. Olatunde pledged to continue to contribute to societal development, guided by the enduring principles instilled in him by his mentor, Governor Akeredolu. In another development, Vice President Kashim Shettima today visited displaced victims of the Christmas Eve attack in Boko's local government area of Plateau State. Shettima, who was on the on-the-spot assessment of communities that were attacked by marauders in the Bokos and Barkin Ladi local government areas, was received at the airport by the National Security Advisor Nuhuri Badu, the Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa, Governor Caleb Mutfwang, and former governors Simon Lalong and Joshua Darie. Displaced persons had converged at the mini stadium in the Bokos local government area awaiting the vice president's visit. Recall that attacks on Christmas Eve by gunmen in Bokos and Barakin Ladi local government areas led to the death of over 150 persons. From the legislature, the Senate leader, Opeyemi Bamidele, has revealed that the National Assembly will pass the 2024 appropriation bill on December 30 to sustain the January-December budget cycle. He disclosed this at a session with journalists in Indian Ekiti State, saying all federal lawmakers would have to cut short their holidays to ensure the speedy passage of the 2024 appropriation bill. Bamidele said to ensure the passage of the budget, the National Assembly abridged time to make all ministries, departments and agencies appear before the joint seating of all the relevant committees of both the Senate and House of Representatives. Meanwhile, Bamidele has expressed concerns about the activities of economic saboteurs who were doing everything to keep exchange rates high against the naira or trying to make the naira unavailable to the people. In the meantime, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, has condemned in strong terms the wanton attacks on communities within Bokos and Barakin Ladi local government areas of Plateau State on Christmas Eve. Abbas, who described the attack as barbaric and heinous, said the deaths were too many, especially at this time. He noted with concern the trend of attacks by gunmen, bandits and other criminals who kill innocent Nigerians. The RAP Speaker charged the security and intelligence agencies to forestall further loss of lives and property in Plateau and other parts of the country. He also asked the security agencies to go after the perpetrators of the dastardly act, apprehend and prosecute them. In a separate development, the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) has affirmed the safety of funds in Nigerian banks, emphasizing the stability of the country's banking sector. The Apex Bank therefore advised the public to continue with their regular banking activities without succumbing to the alarm caused by unverified reports not originating from the CBN concerning the health status of Nigerian banks. The CBN stated that it is fully equipped to carry out its statutory duty of upholding a stable financial system in Nigeria. In a statement issued by the Acting Director, Corporate Communications, Hakama Sidi Ali, the Apex Bank said it has noticed reports in certain media outlets about a recommendation for the federal government to take over some CBN-supervised financial institutions. The clarification comes after the report by the CBN Special Investigator Jim Obaze that the embattled former governor of the Apex Bank, Godwin Emefiele, used proxies to set up two financial institutions. On electoral matters now, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has asked 4 of its directors to go on retirement. The National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee of the Commission, Sam Olumekun, disclosed this in a statement today. According to the electoral body, the retirement was in accordance with the circular on the 8-year tenure policy for directors in the public service. The INEC Commissioner, however, did not give the names of the affected directors. He said while 2 of them served as heads of department at the Commission headquarters in Abuja, the other 2 served as administrative secretaries in the states. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Umoino has declared Tuesday, January 2, 2024 as public holiday to mark the New Year, Thanksgiving and official opening of the International Christian Worship Center in the state. Governor Noor therefore called on all Akwa Ibom people to turn out as a people united under one God for the Thanksgiving service, as he renewed his pledge to work for the unity and prosperity of the state to reciprocate the love and confidence reposed in him by his election as governor and continuous show of support. The governor made these known while speaking at the maiden edition of Nsurubium Day, an initiative of the governor billed to be an annual event to host his kinsmen, stakeholders of his government and Akwa Ibom people in celebration of his mandate as governor of Akwa Ibom State. On the spot, the immediate past governor of Akwa Ibom State, Udom Emmanuel, addressing the gathering in company of his wife Martha, expressed pleasure over the ambience of the event and commended the incumbent governor for using the event to reinforce love, peace and harmony in the state, while also using the event to express appreciation for the love extended to them during the Yuletide. The former governor prayed the love and peace that the coming of Jesus bears to abound in every Akwa Ibom family, while urging the people to continually pray for Governor Moino's administration and for the peace and prosperity of the state. Earlier in his remarks, the transition chairman of Nsurubium local government area, architect Inyobong Orok, described the event as an affirmation of Nsurubium's love and acceptability of their governor. Still to come in the news. Cocoa remains close to 46-year high. Do stay with us.
Every society is premised on the quality of relationships forged by its inhabitants. The health of these relationships determines how well people, relationships, organizations thrive and how long they stick together. Join Uyai Anyekan on Connect every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. and on Sunday 2:30 to 3 p.m. on channel 421 on Star Times to catch all the conversations, interviews, real stories and how to navigate relationships and family life in the 21st century. Real people, real faces, real stories. Connect live on Spectrum Television.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by cross them. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Christmas season is here again. Are you aware that making your business or products visible on a television space gives your brand a wider visibility and patronage? In the spirit of the season, Spectrum Television is offering a whopping 25% discount on all services. Advertise your products and services while this offer lasts from 1st December 2023 to January 31st, 2024. We are a television with a passion to take your business and services on a satisfactory lane. You do not want to miss this opportunity. For more inquiries, visit our city office at number 2 Taft Plaza Close off Akaitinen Road, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, or call the following numbers on your screen. Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
he was in the video. Instead, Kakubo said he was facing malicious claims over a business transaction and had resigned so that the government was not distracted by the controversy. According to reports, the video shows two men sitting by a table counting the neatly stacked cash, both US dollars and Zambian kwacha. Meanwhile, their faces are not visible, but it led to a frenzy of speculation on social media that the men were Kakubo and a Chinese businessman. Still in Africa, Ethiopia has officially entered default territory, becoming Africa's third nation to do so within a span of 3 years. Reports say Ethiopia's failure to make a $33 million coupon payment on its sole international government bond underscores the country's severe financial challenges exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic and a recently concluded 2-year civil war in November 2022. Ethiopia had previously announced its intention to formally default earlier this month. The payment, originally due on December 11, had a technical grace period extending until Tuesday as a result of a 14-day clause in the $1 billion bond agreement. The anticipated default aligns Ethiopia with two other African nations, Zambia and Ghana, which are currently undergoing a comprehensive restructuring process under the common framework. On the foreign scene, the New York Times sued ChatGPT maker OpenAI and Microsoft in a US court today, alleging that the company's powerful AI models used millions of articles for training without permission. According to the lawsuit, through their AI chatbots, the companies seek to free ride on the Times' massive investment in its journalism by using it to build substitutive products without permission or payment. Meanwhile, with the suit, the New York Times chose a more confrontational approach to the sudden rise of AI chatbots, in contrast to other media groups such as Germany's Axel Springer or the Associated Press that have entered content deals with OpenAI. Still on the foreign scene, Israel again pounded Gaza with airstrikes and shelling today after its armed forces chief warned the war raging with Hamas since the October 7 attacks will last many more months. Reports say explosion lit up the night sky over the southern Gaza city of Khan Yunis, a focus of heavy urban combat since the Israeli army said it had largely gained operational control over Gaza's north. According to witnesses, heavy firefights, however, also raged again around Gaza city in the north, while an airstrike wounded 11 people near Rafah, a far southern city crowded with internally displaced people. Meanwhile, the reported deaths of almost 21,000 Palestinians in Gaza's spiraling humanitarian crisis have amplified calls for an end to the hostilities. In the meantime, Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry has said that at least 241 people were killed in the past 24 hours as Israel's military operation continues in the territory. The health ministry noted that 382 people had also been injured over the same period. According to the ministry, at least 20,915 Palestinians have been killed, mostly children and women, in more than 11 weeks of fighting. Meanwhile, Israel's army chief Herzi Halevi said the conflict with Hamas would continue for many more months. Moving on now, the Palestinian Ministry of Health said Israel has handed over the bodies of 80 Palestinians killed in the conflict in Gaza. Reports say Gaza authorities were trying to figure out when and where the men were killed and who they were, as Israeli officials did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Meanwhile, the health ministry said the bodies were handed over by Israel through the Kerem Shalom border crossing and were buried in a long ditch at a Rafah cemetery in the south of the enclave. Still on the foreign scene, the Chinese government has today threatened to place further trade sanctions on Taiwan if the ruling party stubbornly adheres to supporting independence. This comes as a further escalation of the war of words as Taiwanese elections approach next month. Meanwhile, Taiwan's January 13 presidential and parliamentary elections are taking place as China, which views the island as its own territory, has sought to force Taiwan to accept Chinese sovereignty claims. Elsewhere, former Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif will seek a fourth term in office. His party announced this today, noting he would be its consensus candidate in the upcoming parliamentary elections and the office of the Prime Minister. Reports say Sharif, who has served as Prime Minister 3 times, returned to Pakistan in October after 4 years of self-exile in London to avoid serving prison sentences on corruption charges. Meanwhile, his conviction and sentences were overturned on appeal after his return, making him eligible to run for a seat in the parliament, which will elect the new Prime Minister after the February 8 vote. Meanwhile, the Wolfgang Schäuble, who helped negotiate German reunification in 1990 and a finance minister, has died. His family told Newsman today that Schäuble died at 81 in his home. Recall that Schäuble became Chancellor Angela Merkel's finance minister in October 2009, just before revelations about Greece's ballooning budget deficit set off the crisis that engulfed the continent and threatened to destabilize world's financial order. Still on the foreign scene, Colombian government has approved regulations that encourage local communities and indigenous groups to produce energy through renewable sources and sell it to the national grid. It said only 1% of the country's energy comes from alternative sources. According to the country's leader, community leaders, including Afro-Colombians, can now set up partnerships with public and private companies, adding that they will be able to work together to generate power from wind farms, small hydroelectric projects, and biofuels. And now it's time for the latest business and stock market stories. Here is Davina Praise Omang.
Thank you, Xavier Roberts. Good evening. It is business news. My name is Davina Praise Omang. In the news, cocoa remains close to 46-year high. Cocoa futures persisted above $4,300 a ton, remaining close to a recent 46-year peak of nearly $4,500 and poised for an impressive near 70% gain throughout the year, amidst mounting concerns regarding a global deficit in cocoa beans stemming from major producers like Ivory Coast and Ghana. Recent data unveiled a decline in cocoa arrivals at ports in Ivory Coast, the leading grower, with figures reaching 747,000 tons by December 24th since the season inception on October 1st, marking a substantial 36.3% drop from the corresponding period in the previous season. Despite this decline, cocoa farmers in the country expressed optimism regarding the main crop from October to March. Concurrently, the cocoa production forecast for Ivory Coast in the 2023 and 2024 season has been recently revised downward to 1.75 million metric tons from a previous September estimate of 1.8 million tons due to the spread of swollen shoot disease in cocoa farms. In Nigeria, the federal government has revealed that British American Tobacco BAT Nigeria Limited and its related entities are to pay a penalty of $110 million over infringement. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission disclosed this in a statement after a protracted infringement issued by the Commission against BAT and its affiliate entities. The Commission noted that for BAT parties to fulfill their obligations under the consent order, it withdrew pending criminal charges against BATN and at least one employee concerning an attempt to prevent investigation. In other stories, Nigeria to commence gas supply to South Africa in 2024. Nigeria has announced it will commence gas supply to South Africa in the first quarter of 2024. David Ige, the executive of Riverside LNG, a Nigerian-based energy company, disclosed this in a recent interview. Well, according to him, both nations have kickstarted discussions of serious energy collaboration. Earlier this year, Riverside LNG entered into a gas export partnership agreement with Johann Schutz Energy Import AG of Germany. Take a look now at the Nigerian stock market. Regarding the performance of market indices, the benchmark all-share index, ASI, shared 254.63 basis points to close at 73,768.64 points. Compared with previous trading day of Friday, December 22nd, today's data shows 2% improvement in volume, 22% decline in turnover, but 41% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is 40.4 trillion naira. In the aggregate, 123 listed equities participated in trading, ending with 40 gainers and 21 losers. Etherna led the gainers with 10% share price appreciation, closing at 13 naira 20 kobo per share. On the losing side, UAC of Nigeria came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 10% at 13 naira 50 kobo per share. Jais Bank recorded the highest volume of 35.4 million traded shares. Well, this is all in business news, and back to Xavier Roberts for the rest of the news.
Many thanks, Davina. Still to come in the news. John Morant named Player of Week as Grizzlies win 4th straight game. Do stay with us.
Season's greetings from Spectrum TV. For brilliant broadcasts and entertainment, sports on the go, and news around the world, watch Spectrum TV on StarTimes DTH Channel 421 and free-to-air frequency 12733. Visit our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon. Season's greetings from Spectrum TV. Business exists only to meet the needs of the people, but there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Hey, thanks for staying tuned. Let's look at our health stories. Medical experts have said that the importance of early diagnosis of scleroderma, an autoimmune disease also known as skin hardening, cannot be overemphasized, as it will help improve patient outcomes. They suggested that the sooner the disease is diagnosed, the sooner appropriate treatment can commence. They said scleroderma belongs to a group of diseases called autoimmune disorders. And for our top sports stories, let's head over to Utwe David.
Hello, good evening and welcome. In sports, Grizzlies point guard Morant was named Western Conference Player of the Week today after leading struggling Memphis squad to his first 3-game winning streak this season. Later in the evening, Morant scored a game-high 31 points to lead Grizzlies to a 4th straight victory a 116-115 overtime victory over the New Orleans Pelicans. Jay Morant made his season debut last Tuesday against the New Orleans Pelicans, returning from a 25-game suspension with a 34-point performance that included a game-winning floater at the Buzzer. He collected 20 points and 8 assists in his next game against the Indiana Pacers, and then 30 points and 11 assists against Atlanta Hawks on Saturday. Jay Morant, who is 24 years of age, has won 3 Player of the Week awards in his career. Moving on, Manchester City are closing in on signing midfielder Claudio Echeverri from River Plate. City have held formal talks with the Argentine side and are nearing an agreement for the 17-year-old midfielder. If a deal is reached, it is likely that Echeverri would be loaned back to River Plate until at least the end of the English Premier League season. It would be a similar arrangement to the one which eventually brought Julian Alvarez to Manchester City. Echeverri, who was also receiving interest from Barcelona, is highly rated and starred for Argentina at the Under-17 World Cup earlier this month. He has indicated to River Plate that he is unlikely to sign a new contract, with his existing deal set to expire in December 2024. And finally, from Nigeria, the Nigerian National League has charged Crown Football Club of Ogbomoso and Ikorodu City of Lagos 1 million naira each for offences of assaults committed in Match Day 6 of the Conference B. According to NNL, both teams were charged for various degrees of offences prohibited by the league's framework. Both teams violated Article 27.3.1 of the NNL rulebook. The general manager of Crown FC, Olamide Lupejo, encroached onto the playing pitch immediately after their match against Solution FC of Oka, which ended 1-0 in favor of the home side, through verbal assault on the center referee, threatened and promised to deal with him. Report of assault and hooliganism was the case against Ikorodu City at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Onikon in Lagos, at the end of their Match Day 6 fixture with home against TradeSafe FC. Both teams have been directed by the NNL to pay their fines on or before the next games on the 6th of January 2024. And that's all we have for you in sports this evening. I am Mutabe David.
Many thanks to Tabe. And now our entertainment news. Lee Soon-kyun, a South Korean actor who drew global attention with his performance as a wealthy paycheck in the Oscar-winning film Parasite, has been found dead today in an apparent suicide in a Seoul park. Recall that the late Lee had faced police questioning 3 times over accusations of illegal drug use amid a government crackdown, with one session running 19 hours over the weekend. The 48-year-old actor had said he was tricked into taking drugs by a bar hostess trying to blackmail him. Authorities found Lee in a search triggered by a missing person report. Police said Lee was found in a car at a park in Seoul after his manager told police the actor had left home, leaving behind an apparent suicide note. Meanwhile, Lee's agency, Hojo & Yu Entertainment, did not respond to calls. Still on entertainment news, American singer and songwriter Mariah Carey and partner Brian Tanaka have split after 7 years together. Mariah's partner Brian Tanaka, who is a dancer, revealed this in a post on Instagram. Reports say Carey's backup dancer turned creative director and partner detailed their breakup, stating that the decision to embark on different paths is mutual and that creative arts will resonate in the unfolding chapters. Recall that Tanaka and Carey first met when Tanaka joined her 2006 The Adventures of Mimi Ter as a backup dancer, and the All I Want for Christmas Is You singer first confirmed their relationship in 2017. Meanwhile, veteran comedian Otunyota Apobome, popularly known as Alibaba, has asserted that Mark Angel is unarguably one of the richest comedians in the country. According to him, Mark Angel earns up to $300,000 per month from social media apps like Facebook and YouTube. Speaking in an interview, Alibaba said many do not believe Mark Angel is wealthy because he does not flaunt it, and advised people to stop looking down on the comedy profession. And lastly, on entertainment news tonight, Chinenye Nwora's Shanty Town and Tunde Aina's Underbelly emerged major contenders for the highest number of awards received at the 15th Best of Nollywood-Born Awards. Reports say the ceremony, which held in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, was attended by Governor Ademola Adeleke. A total of 29 awards were won by film practitioners, while 2 special recognition awards were conferred on 2 veterans, Adebayo Salami, aka Olga Bello, and Chief Toyin Adebola, aka Asewo, to Ray Mecca. Meanwhile, Governor Adeleke said that everyone knew about his love for the entertainment and arts industry and promised to continually support it. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You've been watching Spectrum News at 9. My name is Xavier Robert. Do have a good night rest. Bye for now.